welcome, welcome. Let's see if things are actually working. Let's hope they are. Let us hope they are. Alright, so, things are a little bit different today, as you can probably tell. I've done a tad bit of prep work just to make sure I had everything I needed. So, you might be asking, what's going on? This is definitely not a game. Well, at least not me playing a game type of thing. So, yeah, I've wanted to do this since I was little. I got this adventure module that you can see in the background here. I think I was maybe 6 or 7. I was in a dollar store with my parents, and I saw this cool looking book. Well, I mean, it's kind of short. It's only like 33 pages. Like 38, including like the extra pages for like maps. So, I saw it, and I'm like, ooh, this looks amazing. Can I have this? And because it was a discounted item, my parents eventually gave in. So, yeah, I got this when I was like 5. But, and I could read it, but, because my mom taught me how to read, because she was learning, well, she had just learned, I guess you could say, earlier. So, it was, quite capable of her teaching me. So, I didn't need, like, kindergarten for that or anything. And there was nothing I really couldn't get. But I thought it looked crazy cool. So, yeah. I actually got a whole bunch of them at the time. Though, this was the only D&D one. And it's old school D&D. I don't remember what version of D&D was out, actually, when I was 5. But it was not this version. This is from, like, 86 or something. So it was, like, 20 years before I was born. So, anyways, yeah, I've wanted to play this for, like, ever. But obviously, it's kind of hard to play. You can find the rules nowadays, now that the internet is a thing. When I was growing up, I certainly didn't have any clue how it was actually played. I think I borrowed a copy of, like, D&D 2.5, maybe? And I tried to use that, and it did not work, because obviously the rules are all different. Not anything like this. So, yeah, it's needed updating to be able to play in a modern setting. And even back then, it was designed for only 2 people. A game master or a dungeon master, whatever you want to call him. And a player, a single player, who would take a certain role. And I'll have to show you a little bit. But yeah, it was designed for 2 people to play. And I posted a thing about wanting to play it. And I got some feedback from some people who actually wanted to do it. So today, we're going to get into actually trying to convert this and put it into Roll20. Because obviously Roll20 doesn't have this. It is way too different a thing for them. I have already told it that we're playing 5th edition. It's not entirely set that we're going to do 5th edition. But for now, I'm going to assume that it will be 5th edition we're playing. We're thinking we might use an updated version of the old school rules, but I haven't finished looking at them. So I'm going to start with just going with D&D 5e, since it's built into Roll20, and I don't really have to do as much work. I did buy a pack, which is the DM starter kit for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. So I have like the monster manual and some stuff, and it's shared to the players, and I added the maps in that come with the adventure modules that gives you. So I don't have to start exactly from scratch, but all the maps and things, I want to try to use the old school maps as the backgrounds, and we're going to see how that goes. So let's get into this. You see, I've had 4 hours of experience messing with it so far. So, it's loading. 20 seconds from now, we'll be able to see it. Alright, so we are in. This is not the landing tab. Players start here. Which, if this wants to update, will show you the cover art. This is the cover art. And that's where they'll jump in. I should turn off the grid on this one, actually. That would probably be a good idea. I don't think it needs the grid. I think I can do that on here. Grid off. Save settings. There we go. No more grid on this one. So it's just gonna have, you know, the normal original artwork on the drop page for players. I think that's a suitable place to start. Oh, I should mention, you can actually buy the module. A couple of years ago, Drive-Thru RPG and Wizards of the Coast did a deal where all the old TSR modules got put into PDF format and offered through Drive-Thru RPG. So, I've picked up a PDF version just to make it easier. Besides, mine had pretty much fallen apart over the years. I still have it. It's just not in such great condition through house moves and moving stuff around, and just me being a kid. I was 5, come on! I can only do so much. But, yeah, this is all the pre-main maps, basically, except I have been working on the token page, which is why we were already there. I know these monsters exist within the setting. And actually, I have it up in another thing here. Where did I put it now? Okay, here we go. Yeah, these are just some of the things that actually appear so far, and it does not have its name. Put your nameplate on. Nameplate. So we can tell at a distance. Alright, the original model did not have wargs. Wargs were not in the original. But direwolves are, and that is what this one here is. I feel since all the direwolves in this are all made to be rode by goblins or hobgoblins, that we should include wargs rather than direwolves. The two are almost identical, functionally. But wargs seem to fit better with the context. So I've included both for now, and we'll see how that goes. Alright. And I pulled most of these, at least the farther ones over here, from one of the modules. So that's where I got them from. I just carried them over from the token sheets for those modules. But we're going to populate a map here that's entirely ours in a little bit. Well, I should say from the original model. I already have the art, and the map for the art is already set. And we're going to try to get it as close as we can to working in here. There are some differences, and we'll get into those. So that's going to be a thing. Let me check on one thing here. Alright, okay, that's good. let's move this over a little more so I can see more. Okay, so in the original story, and I think we'll build our list of possible enemies here first. Because there's going to be some balance stuff we're going to have to worry about when I get to the map. And I want a few of these done. Yeah, well, I started to do it. The brown bear is actually one of the things from what we're looking at. There's actually a table, and I'll make it a table that can be rolled on. Because it actually was rolled on. It was a D10 back in the day. But I'm going to have to come up with something for one of the options. Because one of the options on the Wandering Monster table, which we will use, was robber flies. And I can't find an analog to a robber fly in modern D&D. Maybe there is one. I just don't know. I can't find one if there is. So we're going to have to skip robber flies. I know that's offensive to those who like, those. But, yeah, we're just going to have to skip those for now. Let's drag a wolf over, since that is the next thing. Obviously, we already have dire wolves, but we'll give their little baby brothers here their shot, because they are on the table. Alright, so, wolves, in the original game, if you encountered them as wandering monsters, were between 2 and 5 wolves, which, out of curiosity, I have a thing to give us an idea of how strong an encounter is. Let's put in 5 wolves, because we're gonna have 2 players. The original model was built for 1. And that one character was 7th level. So my assumption starting out is that, we're gonna have basically the same sort of thing. Except it's gonna be 2 people, because elves back in the day when this module was made were basically the equivalent of connecting a fighter with connecting a magic user, like a mage or a wizard, at 7th level for each. It's not like multi-classing. You were just both simultaneously equally powerful. So at 7th level, you had access to 4th level mage spells, and you had stats like a warrior. So you were super powered compared to modern D&D. So, yeah, that was a thing. He also had a bunch of companion creatures. He had a couple of pair of war dogs, and he had a war horse. And those, I don't think, are in the rules as is. So, we can't really do those either. So, we're gonna have to ignore those for now. We're gonna just have to ignore them. Even 5 wolves, though, it's not apparently a threat for 2 level 7 players. So, yeah, it's a negligible threat that would have, no EXP for it. Which is pretty much what I thought. We'll probably have to make it a bigger group. Hey, Zelius! Hi! Welcome. And, I didn't really change much, but I'm glad the audio sounds better now. Hopefully it stays that way. Well, I did tweak them slightly, but not very much. But I had to go through them all when I was showing them off, so that's a thing. That was a thing. Alright, so, back. We're gonna leave the wolves in. We'll probably have a bigger batch when they're encountered, though. The next thing, though, was giant ferrets. There are apparently no giant ferrets in the monster manual. Feel free to lurk. I welcome lurking. But I hope you enjoy. This is a different topic for me. I don't usually talk about this too much. But I want to get into it again. Alright, so we have lots of giant creatures. And I mean, ferrets are rodents, so maybe a rat? That could be a thing. There is actually already a giant lizard, which is over here. I mean, that's a thing. Could make it spiders. I mean, it's very forested. Ooh, there's a weasel. Ferrets and weasels are pretty close. What does a giant weasel look like? Keen hearing and smell, a bite. About the same HP actually as giant ferrets back in the day. Stats I have on giant ferrets from the module we're converting is AC 5, 1+1 hit dice, and 6 HP. So, that was the day of Thaco. So, to hit armor class 0. So, AC 5 was more like AC 15 in the modern terms. So, 13 and 15, pretty close. 9 hit points with 2 hit dice, effectively. Hence the 2d8. Gives us pretty comparable stats. Pretty comparable. I think it's about as close as we're probably gonna get. I don't know. I don't know if we can get any closer than this. Boy, they look fierce. They do kind of look ferrety. So let's drag giant weasels over. Alright, I don't know. I don't know some of their stats. So I'm not really sure what the encounter in the challenge rating is for a giant weasel. Let's put it over here. I don't want them too close. I don't want them to blend into each other. Another thing on the list is a boar. And there are boars. These are normal boars. 1 to 3 of them. Huh. Hey Mike, welcome. And, well, this is random monsters that we're working through right now. So, these might be hiding when they're encountered. What is the challenge rating on these? 1/4. This is probably not going to be a big threat for our team. But we're going to put boars in here anyways. Let's drop it over here. Gotta think. I might have a giant boar too. You know, like several smaller boars around a giant dire boar. Well, I mean, it's technically not a dire. Just a giant, not a dire. But, I mean, that might work. We'll put maybe the wolves with a dire wolf to up the rating a little. That might be better. Giant ferret, well, giant weasels can go on their own. The next thing is sturges. They really liked sturges in this, this setting. Module. Crazy ass looking things that suck on blood. Whole clouds of them would descend on people. 1/8. I might have to throw like 8 of these at somebody. But we'll do it. We'll make it work. Alright. Put the nameplate on. Yeah, I think we're just gonna up the number when they encounter those. That will be how we deal with that. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, it is a random encounter. They could never get it. Or they could get lots of them. Next are Hobgoblins, which are already here. And after that, we have Gnolls. And we're gonna need Gnolls. Oop. Gnoll. We're gonna need a Gnoll for later too, because they're in this module a lot. Crazy-eyed things. Demonic origin, huh? I think that's a little bit new. I think that's more like Pathfinder, though. And Pathfinder, I think, because we'll play Pathfinder later this year, and you'll get a hint of how gnolls are there too. But we'll put some gnolls in. I don't think we need a pack lord. I don't think there's any really higher tier ones. Challenge rating 2. Well, I mean, we could maybe put them in. I'll have to see. We'll go with no pack lords for now. And if we need them, we'll add them to this page. How about that? That sounds good. We already have ogres. Ogres right here. And I want to see. It's saying I could have as many as 3 of these ogres in an encounter. What would that be for difficulty, though, is what I'm wondering. 3 would be hard. It would be a hard encounter. So, we'll have to see how the balance goes. There's a very early fight with 2 of them. So, we'll see how that goes. And yes, Mike, we'll see how the players deal with them. That's the whole goal. How do the players handle them? Do they do really well, or do they get rolled over? I don't think we have a troll on this list yet, but we're gonna need a troll. Yep, here we go. And trolls are... Oh, wow, there's variants even. Variants, huh? Let's put a nameplate on him. Alright, so he's got a nameplate now. What challenge rating are they? That's a good idea. Well, I mean, hopefully the players can stab these guys. That would be helpful. We kind of want them to get to the end of the adventure. Though they may not live through that. And they're challenge 5. Which should actually be very challenging, if I remember correctly. Let's check that. Yeah, 1 troll is a hard encounter. Watch them get, like, troll after troll after troll. That'd be a thing. That would definitely be a thing. Okay. Next thing to appear in the module is a Centaur. 1 Centaur. Ooh, that guy looks, beefy. Yes. Not hugely challenging. He should be about equivalent to the players, I think. I think that's how it's worked out. But there's a specific non-random encounter with a Centaur who's got a name, actually. So let's give him a name here. He is... Ooh. He is... Turpin, the Centaur. Alright, so Turpin the Centaur, he can go up with our named creatures. There are not many... Well, there are some things that we'll encounter, let's put it that way, that are friendly and named, but not too many of those even. And they're gonna go in the sidekicks area, I believe. That's where they'll fit. But there won't be too many of those even. So we'll see how this all goes. This knight, though, is meant to represent a guy known in the game as the Black Horseman. He is a one-off encounter, and he's supposed to be a 5th level fighter, which it looks like he pretty much is from the way his stats are laid out here. I can't really see too much. At least not in here. I haven't figured out how to look at all his stats yet. And he's technically a named creature or monster. So we'll stick him up here. Alright, so we got those in... Ooh, okay. So, here's a thing. The big enemies in this are all red dragons. Obviously, not suitable for our characters to really fight. There's a bunch of young ones, which I'm gonna make as wormlings, I believe. Wormlings are the younger ones that aren't very old. Yeah, wormlings are 5 years or less in age. Wow, they got a lot of stuff in here. Okay, they're challenge 4. So, I think that actually means that they're not even quite up to the troll. Let's drop the troll and take a look. Yes, that's a medium encounter to face one of these. Though, I don't feel that's a medium encounter. I don't feel that's a medium encounter. I mean, it is a red dragon, after all. You know, breath weapons, clawy claws, huge fangs. And these guys all have names. So, yeah. This one is called Tizit. And I think it's okay not to list anything else for that. At least not right now. In the original, it was an HD 10 monster. And I think this is probably close. But they only had 24 HP. This has like 75. It's a much harder fight. And I think he was... Yeah, it says he was wounded, so he actually was supposed to have 50. But they lower the encounter, apparently. But yeah, they've still gotten stronger over the years. Okay, and we need another guy who is effectively a creature. He is probably a druid. Probably. Or a cleric. It's kind of hard to say. He's supposed to be... He's an elven hermit. That's all we really know about him. He's a friendly, though. He's a friendly, so he's an NPC. Maybe we do him as a cleric? Well, there were druids that we can just grab as an enemy. As crazy as that sounds, we can just grab a druid, I think, as a monster. Yes, right here. Druid as a monster. There will be a few of these. There are a few in the game. So that's gonna be a thing. And challenge 2, so that's okay. I mean, he's not super strong. And give me 1 second. I need to use the restroom. So I'm gonna put us on be right back. And I'll be right back. And Mike, I have the water already. That's why I had to use the restroom. That's why I had to use the restroom. Alright. Alright. We're gonna drag the druid over. This guy is Roark Melstowel. It ate my tea. Alright, so we stick him over here. Alright, and there's another one that we need here. He is considered to be a warrior in the original game. Do I have a monster manual version of the elf, maybe? I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. Yeah, I may have to create him independently and not as a monster. I don't know why you can create druids as monsters, but not any other class. I would probably have to have read the book more thoroughly. Maybe... Okay, a mage we have as a potential class. The original one did have some spells. Ooh, he would be a challenge 6. Okay. This one is a 9th level spellcaster, though. It was a 5th level, 5th level... Ooh. How does this guy look? How does this guy look? He is a very basic guy. Maybe not this guy. I think we'll make him as an NPC. I need to use that system anyways. So yeah. I think we're gonna skip a bunch of this here anyways. Maybe... Do I have... No. Just the rock ones. And we're not facing anything deep underground. So let's skip those. There's a bunch of halflings. Yeah, I have to make them all as NPCs, I think. Just our druid. Our druid can be not an NPC and fit in. Alright, I think that's it for those. There's another ogre, 18 hobgoblins. Just out of curiosity, if I threw 18 hobgoblins at the heroes, how would that go? Alright. Yeah, that's a deadly encounter. Absolutely deadly encounter. Anything more than 10 of them is considered a deadly encounter. This module just hands you a whole bunch of them. Yeah, the original module just says, here are 18 hobgoblins and an ogre. Have fun for your single guy. So obviously, I'll never use it like that. I would have to split them up somehow. They are supposed to be in 4 groups, so maybe I'll split up the 18 into groupings if that happens. If that even happens. So let's go on. Pixie. Hello, Pixie. There's a whole, well, there's pixies and what they call flitterings in this, which were basically a type of pixie, for lack of any sort of better term. So let's put these in here. They were sort of neutral in the actual story. So I'm not sure if it's gonna be on the side of the players or not when they actually encounter it. But there's a whole lot of them if they do want to fight them off. Okay, then we have bugbears, which I think I put in here. No, I don't think I got to the bugbears. Let us add some bugbears. Alright, what is a bugbear like these days? That's a good question. Okay, they're challenge 1, so 2 bugbears should not be a big threat. And they do fall right around what they were in the original, so that's probably good. They will not be a huge threat, though. But they're right next to a whole bunch of other things, including a troll. So the troll could be encountered because you're fighting the bugbears. Alright, so bugbear, you go here. Here looks like a good place for you. Alright, we have sturges, flitterings, and owlbear, which is where the owlbear comes in. We already got him in. He is in our list. Then there was a crab spider. A crab spider was just a giant spider. I probably should have grabbed them earlier when we were looking at giant things. Let's toss in the giant spider. Probably need more than one giant spider, really. Probably need more than one. What's their challenge rating anyways? That's a good question. Challenge rating 1. So yes, we probably will need to throw a couple of them at least at our party of 2. Alright, now, there is only one golem in this entire game. And it's at the part I just got to. We're 16 pages in and we find a golem. There are no more bone golems, at least as far as I know. The closest thing I have is a flesh golem. Well, I mean, there probably is bone golems still somewhere in the rules. But, I don't have access to them. They're not in the monster manual. So it would be harder to actually pull them up. And a challenge 5, for a group of only 2 level 7 players, that is actually a fairly hard encounter. So, let's toss him over. Oh, and he's already got his nameplate. Alright, well that works. Let's toss you over here. Wow, he has 93 hit points. 93! Yeah, I'm actually using a site called Kobold Fight Club to actually decide how hard the actual difficulty is. So, it takes a guess based on a bunch of factors. But challenge rating gives me an idea for starting off where things are. But challenge rating actually figures that there are going to be at least 4 players, and here we have 2, so everything's automatically harder. So, yeah, challenge level 5, from everything I've seen, is usually like a hard encounter. Kobold Fight Club, Mike. Kobold Fight Club. And yeah, we're gonna have some encounters once I get done making our list. Some definite encounters. And luckily for everyone, there are no phase spiders anywhere in the original module. Nowhere in the original module. I do not even want to try to do this. There are a couple of herbalists, which are druids, apparently. Or clerics, one or the other. 16 gnolls and a troll in one encounter here. That would be fun. 12 more gnolls in another encounter. With a treant. I think the treant is friendly. Actually, we should put the treant in. I'm sure there has to be a treant in the monster manual. So let's add him in. Though he, I believe, is a friendly. Which would be good, he's challenge rating 9. So if I throw 12 gnolls into a fight with the player characters, a treant, maybe that would work out. Maybe. I don't plan to do that. But, you know, it's just funny to think about. I don't want the players to just automatically die. He has a name, though, so we'll put a name in for him. Black Evergreen is the name. Why did... Silly keyboard. Alright, so we'll put him in here. It's getting a little bit crowded. Let's move the dragon over. There's gonna be some more of those anyways. Let's see. There's an armored ogre, but I'll basically just treat him as a normal ogre unless I need to otherwise. Animated brambles. I don't think we have to really worry about animated brambles. I want to see what animated stuff there is, though. Just armor. Just armor. So that's a thing. And then there's some things called Silver Warriors. I'm gonna have to think about those. Not that you have to fight those. They're a neutral thing. And there's a level 9 character. We're gonna ignore him, too. Then we have more random encounters. Because there's 2 random encounter tables. Have fun, Raza. Take care. It's gonna be a couple of weeks yet, so, yeah. We'll eventually have another of these that will be prepped for setting up their characters, and we'll see how that goes. And if things go really badly, I have a potential 3rd player. Well, the only thing in the monster manual seems to be animated armor. And I don't think that feels like a good fit. Maybe, but it's more of an obstacle. It's not really meant to be fought physically, at least. So I don't think I'm going to treat it as one. Alright, but we have a brown bear, which I do not think we have over here yet. Oh, okay. So flying, that would be a thing, yeah. Oh, no, I do have my brown bear already. I'm being forgetful. I told you, go away. Wait, thank you. Alright, mountain lion. I don't think I have a mountain lion to use. We'll have to see. No, just lions. Slightly different things. Slightly different things. And I'll stick to the... There's 2 flying swords. What's the difference between the 2? I don't know, they look pretty much the same. We'll toss one in, just in case we need to use it. Just in case. Alright, give it its name. Let's actually rename you too. If it wants to work. Come on, Sight. Alright. It looks like a sword, but it's a bramble. Trust me, it's a bramble. Oh, panther could be a thing. Cougar, if it had cougars. Hey, Soggy! Welcome, welcome. Do they have panther? Yes, they have panther. Yeah, and for anyone that has just come in, like Soggy, I am setting up for making a very old module. And I'll show you the thing for it here. I'll switch tabs really quick. So, this is really old. It's older than I am. By like 20 years. It's from like 1986. It's from 1986. It was in the original expert rules for D&D. Okay, and I've hydrated. Hopefully you guys hydrate too. But, as a little kid, I found it in a discount store. And I was like 5, and I begged my parents to buy it for me, because it was like, 38 pages long. So, kids fair stuff. And so I've had it since I was 5, but I've never played it. I couldn't even find the rules for how to play it. So, I have never ever played it. Well, eventually I did find the rules. I should say that. But I never actually had anyone to play with for it. So, the other day, I decided, this would be a good way to start doing tabletop RPGs on the channel. So, I found some people. And, what was an adventure for a DM and 1 player is now going to be a DM and 2 players. Which is still a little bit different from, current games of D&D 5e, which expect like 4 players, 4 players at least, as a minimum. So, they're gonna be a little undergunned. And, hopefully they're gonna get through it anyways. Okay, and the Panther's not terribly capable. What is... Yeah, in the original, you encounter, like, 2. That is, like, a pitiful encounter. Wow. But let's go with it. Let's go with it for now. We can use that as our, imitation cougar. And I'm not sure what they're gonna play as yet. I'm figuring since the original was dealing with 1 player who was a fighter and a mage at 7th level for both classes. Because that's how elves were back then. I'm thinking 1 will play as some sort of mage, and 1 will play as some sort of fighter, which could be a ranger, or a whole bunch of other, archetypes in there. Maybe a paladin. And the other will be the mage. So, sorcerer, warlock. I'm not sure exactly what they want to do yet. It's still pretty early stages. Figured I should have some of the encounter at least ready for them. And then that'll give them an idea of what it's going to be like. And we can sort of work out, what the best choices would be. But they will be most likely level 7 to start. So, somewhat experienced at least. Oh, and we finally need orcs. So let's toss some orcs in. Come on. Some you're able to update. Alright, let's grab our orc. How challenging is our orc? And it does not say. Oh yeah, because I'm not looking in the right place to find. Hopefully they do not encounter the full range of orcs. Because this one particular thing is an orc barracks with 30 orcs in it. I'm thinking that would be very deadly. Very, very deadly. Oh, and there's a hill giant in this area too. So that would be a thing. Alright. What sort of challenge rating is a hill giant even? Is it too strong for our players? It's a 5. So that's a challenging encounter. That will be fine. Well, at least we figure it's going to be challenging. It counts as a hard encounter, at least. So hopefully it will be a challenge. Come on. It's got a lot of hit points. A lot of hit points. 105 hit points. Oh, wow. That's going to be a thing. They might be able to avoid that fight entirely, though. So, from a quick look, that'll be a thing, definitely. But it shouldn't be too bad. There is. Come on. All right, it's being slow. It's like slowing down. There is what I guess could be considered an Apprentice Wizard. I'm not sure what level that's supposed to be, though. What are you? Well, that's 66. That seems a little bit high for what I want. They have second level spells in here. Which is why I'm looking at these guys. This looks like that may be a good option here. Let's grab this guy and move him over to ours. Alright, paste. This guy is named, though, and they're charmed to help the bad guys. So, come on. Come on. Okay, Roll20 wants to be slow. Minra. Myrtle is the name of this mage. Alright, there we go. Alright, then there's another hill giant. Then we have a Griffin. And once I finally have all these guys in here, we're gonna put together the very first series of encounters. They're all in the very same area, so... And I looked at him earlier. So I'm just gonna toss him in. Oh, yes, I do want your nameplate on, so it's easier to tell what you are. Alright, stick you there. What else do we have? Manticore. There are a lot of manticores in here. If the players are not careful, they will have manticores coming out of them, coming out of everywhere for them. Oh, okay. We are now to the final section in the game. Page 26 of the module. Come on. Come on. So, the whole adventure is built around a red dragon. But I'm pretty sure an adult red dragon would eat them. It'd just murder them. I'm positive that's a deadly encounter. Yeah, challenge 17. $256 HP. And it has legendary resistance and legendary actions. I think that might be too much for two characters who are maybe level 8 or 9 at max when they encounter this guy. There is enough time they might level up like once or twice, possibly, during this. I'll have to work that out as I'm working on the module. And depending on how vigorously they want to get involved in certain things. There's a lot of basically side adventures they can get carried away on. But yeah, I don't think there's any way adult red dragon is going to be the correct enemy for them. Yeah, that's a deadly encounter. Even a young red dragon is a deadly encounter. So, we're gonna go with a young red dragon. Because, I don't have really another option here. He's just gonna be young. Yeah, that's gonna be how it's gonna work. I'm giving them a lot of stuff as part of the whole quest. If they work it out, you get a whole bunch of anti-dragon stuff. And I'm going to sort of live up to that concept when I'm redoing it. So hopefully, if they've been smart, they get to this fight and they have like every anti-dragon gear you can get. Hopefully. Oh, and we forgot to turn on the nameplate. It is named Cordarg. Cordarg! And it's supposedly female, so... I mean, that's a thing. That's why there's wormlings here. And those have names, too. So we'll toss in the other wormlings. Because there's supposed to be 2 more in the nest. Of course, back in those days, they were called young red dragons. With whole 7 hit dice. Not how it is anymore. Not how it is. I'm not even sure that's pronounceable anymore. Alright, so, questionably named. But he's all there. Shalkmog is the other one here. When it wants to work again. Roll20 is being a pain. Okay. Shalkmog. Alright. Let's put you over here. And you next to them, because you're both really big. You guys are small. You guys are specks compared to them. Okay, and a bunch of stuff about the Silver Warriors. And another creature type, which is some sort of fae. Or an elf. It's hard to say exactly. Okay, so. I think we have everything now. As far as most of the basics that we need right now. We know what we can encounter. We know what we can encounter. We have a list. We can start making the very first area. Alright. And it's being slow again. Let me type, damn you. Alright. First map is Donneral. Alright. This is the very first encounter map that they give us. And you'll see in a second here, once I work out what I'm looking at. Yeah, here we go. Drag and drop this guy in. These maps are tiny. These maps are so tiny. Okay, come on. How big is this map it just made? That's a good question. Okay, 25 by 25. Yeah, this I need to change. This I need to change. The original map is definitely covering a larger area in general. Let's... Yeah. That's about right. We're gonna go... Ooh. When I don't accidentally zoom in and out. But this is the original map. We've now placed it in the background. It's a little bit different than the modern map, because in the modern map, these would usually be 5-foot intervals. But these are not 5-foot intervals on the original map. The original map, every square was 10 by 10. So these are really big squares, and I'm not sure of a better way to handle this. For now, we're just gonna have to deal with these being big squares. I may have to make some maps of my own and see how this goes. But for now, this will be our encounter map. We may just make this a really huge map. We'll see how that goes. Alright. So, in the original, 1A down here in the corner is where everything starts. And you know, it's bothering me that this space is so small. I think we're going to try to change the size of this map again. Okay, you can be 2 grids shorter. We're gonna make it 50. This is gonna be huge. This map is gonna be freaking huge. Okay, and this should be 46. Because we're gonna double this. And then I'm gonna drop this back down to 5-foot intervals on the cell distance. Alright. I mean, I could change the cell width, but I don't really want to do that. That sounds like a horribly bad idea to me. So let's just go and stretch this out. Why are you... Okay, let's stretch you there. I actually cannot see the grid work now. Oh, no. It did have more on the bottom. Okay. Alright, I guess that was a thing. These grids now are much smaller, I think. Yeah, there's a... Well, it doesn't... This map is a little janky. This map is a little janky. But, I think it will do for now. 1A, though, is where the first encounter is. First encounter is meant to be pretty darn easy. First encounter is 4 Hobgoblins, which we'll grab from the other token page here. Alright, so these are Hobgoblins. We're going to copy them. It's a very open map in general. So this is also going to be a thing. There's a bridge here separating it from the next zone. But these guys are pretty tiny on this map. Alright. There's only 4 of them, though. And there are 2 player characters. This should be a very easy encounter down here. And there should be a way to hide these. I'll have to work on that. I think you can use another layer. Yeah, the GM info overlay, I think. And I can use that, I think, to hide them. Unless someone knows a better way to hide them, at least. These are very primitive maps, so we're gonna have to do some editing, probably. Not this time. I'm not gonna do it right this moment. I just wanna get some of the stuff in here and sort of work on the balance. But I have looked already. And these hobgoblins, even with 4 of them, are an easy encounter. At least that's what Kobold Fight Club tells me. It should just be an easy encounter. And I think it will too. There's more hobgoblins, but I don't expect them to take a lot of damage here. Even with it being pretty much open. And there will be a bunch of trees there. And we'll figure out how to deal with that. That should be pretty much straight from the story. What could be an issue, though, is the next part. 1B on the other side has something a little different on hand. Because there are 2 ogres on the other side. Alright, let's drop down here. These guys are sitting over here on the other side of the bridge. Alright. These guys are a little more challenging. Everything, I should note, everything past these trees here is basically on fire. So, yeah, this is considered a medium encounter for 2 players. That should be good. A little bit harder. You're gonna have to think a little bit more. And the worst possible thing would be for both encounters to end up, overlapping. Like, if the players tried to push through without killing everything, that would be bad. Because then you'd have hobgoblins behind you, and ogres in front of you, and you're stuck on a bridge. That would never go very well. Alright. 1C is the area around it, so that's our next set of encounters. Okay, in the 1C area, there is another group. And this is a crazy group. And these might cause a problem too. This is the hardest encounter so far. Okay, it's gonna start with a couple of wargs. We're gonna move them back, like, over here. Alright, so we have the wargs. On the wargs, though, are a pair of goblins. Hi, goblin. You're coming with me. I think there's a way to link these, but I'm not sure how to get them to link. We're gonna work on that. Can you share a spot somehow? Maybe? Ooh, no, I didn't want it. For now, I'll just put them on top. We'll deal with it that way. So, we have our wargs and our goblins. And the original then calls for... somewhere here. 5 hobgoblins. Yeah. Oop, no. I can't see the menu. Alright. So we have this group over here. We'll arrange them like this, I think. Hobgoblins on the outside, wargs with their goblin riders here. Yeah, that's a thing. Now this, I did look at this earlier to get a sense of how hard this was. So we'll toss in goblin and hobgoblins. Then we'll add in the wargs. 2 wargs, 5 hobgoblins, and 2 goblins is a hard fight. This could be the end of the adventure right here. But there should be ways to get around them. They're just over here, and they're roaming around in all this space that says 1C. So this path through here, around to the upside even. I'm gonna set them over here, though, because they're a good distance from the ogres. So it's possible to actually go around them, like skirt over here, and drop right into 1D. So maybe they won't even encounter them. You never know. But now, in the original, on 1D, there is supposed to be a Hobgoblin King and 2 bodyguards. There are no such things in the monster manual as a Hobgoblin King. I looked, though, and there's captains and warlords. This is an optional fight. They never have to actually encounter these guys. They could avoid these guys completely. That would actually be a good idea, if I do this. Because, see, what I'm very tempted to do is to drop in Hobgoblin captains with a warlord. But I did the math for the challenge rating for that, and it would be a deadly encounter. But it might teach something to the characters. And none of them really want to actually fight the encounter. So I think it might be possible to add in this warlord and have the warlord play too. But it would be a horrible thing if they had to fight the warlord. He would ruin their day. He would just ruin their day. He has easily as much HP as a lot of the others and a very high AC. He would maul them if they were to be in an encounter together. And I actually looked. It doesn't matter if they're hobgoblins or hobgoblin captains that go with him. That 3 units together would be so overwhelming that this encounter would be over very shortly. Alright, they are going this way, so we're gonna put them up here. And switch back over here. Of course, I won't know until I actually do this if I'm gonna go with a harder option or not. We're not sure how punishing we want to be on our players yet. Or even, you know, there would be options to do other things here. This whole tree is on fire, and flames are all around here, so visibility is kind of low. There are options here to avoid this completely. Alright, so this was 1D. 1E is another unit. In the original, there were 6 war horses here, and somehow the hobgoblins were riding horses. But I have decided to change this up. I've decided definitely to change this up. Because we already have wargs. Wargs we already introduced. I see no reason not to keep using wargs. So, up here, like down here, yeah. Since basically the enemy came from this way, I figure they dropped off their wargs, then they went over here to check out the tree. There's just those wargs and some hobgoblins there. So we'll toss in these guys here. And the whole thing with these guys is they're going over here to get back on their rides. So, figuring they do that, these guys will all disappear from the map. And the players never have to encounter them. And 1F is the next part, but there's no encounters there. Nope. 1G has 1 enemy, though. Just to make sure that the enemy can get away, there is a giant lizard who has come wandering by. It's the only giant lizard in the entire module, but it just appears over here. So, that is basically the orientation of all these guys here. Yeah, there's a lot of forces spread out over this map. There are a lot of forces spread on this map. But, yeah, this is what we're throwing at the players. Hopefully not all at once. Oh, and I was gonna measure the encounter with the wargs, and the 2 hobgoblins. Okay, 3 wargs and 2 hobgoblins is an easy encounter. So, that should work out. It's just, they need to avoid encountering these guys. If they encounter these guys in the middle here, this all goes to hell. Because those 3 alone can just demolish all the players. And I think I will have something that can happen here. A random passerby, if need be, to rescue our players if this all goes south. Alright. Now, there are some other maps, though. There are some very different maps that are involved in this game. Let's change this, because these maps are on a very different scale. Oh, and it's not updating for me again. Let's give it a little bit. It'll come back. But I'll keep talking. So, these maps are the area maps. They're hex-based with a 2-mile grid. There's a lot of traveling here, and, yeah. They don't have Fog of War, so I disabled Fog of War for now. I'll turn it on individual maps if I need to. Let me look at the map while I'm doing this. That would help. And, of course, it's not responding. It is very slow. I probably have too many tabs open for it, I guess. Or maybe I just had it running too long. I'm not sure. I don't know how it works exactly. Okay, it is responding now. This area is known as the Emerless. We're gonna go to that map. And we're gonna drop this in, switch to the art tab, and I have already brought this in. So we're gonna toss this in here. Let's zoom in a little. Alright, I want this. Oop. Stick this in the corner a little. Yeah, I think that's all as close as it's gonna let me get. No. I need it up a little. I want it all to fit on here. Okay, I think that's the bottom of the page. Yeah, we missed the TSR logo part, but that is basically the entire page. This is a layout of the entire area that the players get to roam around in. And it's a thing. We start down here at 1, and all the numbered ones are encounter areas. So there are 22 encounter areas here. And the players are gonna have to travel between locations. 2 miles per hex, get wherever they're going. So this could take very many days in game. And there can be encounters in every hex you travel through, which is why there's random encounter maps. And I do need to add those somehow. We'll work on that, though. Not right now. But this is the overall map. Obviously, the players don't get to see this. And there's no way I can line up this grid with that grid. Some of it almost lines up and others don't at all. And I tried to work with it earlier. I just opened up an empty thing and played around with it to try to get the maps to orient right. And unfortunately, when the maps were made, the maps are somewhat crooked. So everything will never line up. I would have to go and redraw the entire map, which I guess is possible, but I don't really want to do. So that's the thing. This is one of two maps that are actually the hex grid and at the same scale. So we're gonna make the other one too while we're doing this one. Let us move this to miles again. I think everything in D&D at this point is in feet. So, miles should be the easier choice here. And if you need to know the meters rather than feet, we can do the conversions for that. I know that very easily off the top of my head. I've done it too much. Too much! Alright. Here we go. And of course it pauses. Come on. Come on, think. Okay, and the name is just... Nope. Okay. I wasn't trying to go to the map. I was trying to rename it. I mean, right now at least. And of course I have to wait on it again. I will work on this sometime and see if I can figure out why it's not cooperating very well. So we'll see how that goes. But we're gonna call this the Lair. Because I've already called it that in the images. Yeah, and I actually did this image twice. Because once was obviously not enough. Oops. It's not what I wanted. I wanted to delete you. There we go. I don't need two. I only need one. Okay, this is a very small map. Comparatively. And that's pretty close to spot on for the hex grid. It snaps to hex, so it's never gonna be perfect. It's never gonna be. And again, it's crooked. I can't fix it. I don't have any way to do that without redrawing it. But it's pretty close to the correct square grid. And I actually have the number wrong. It's half mile for this one. Half mile hexes. Let's go back in here. Oh, and it never changed? What? Okay. Well, it's thinking again. I think I really need to restart it here sometime soon. It did change some of this. Alright. Alright. So half. Alright. Well, I mean, the distance is now correct. It probably does not matter. Not in the broader picture. And this does not need to be anywhere near as big as it is. But this gives us a lot of room if we need to stick players on the sides or something. So that'll be a thing. I don't have any of the other images done for the maps. The maps were originally just 4 pages in the back. And as far as that goes, the Emeralds, or Emeralds, got its own map. Then the other maps were put, like, all the Lair maps, this one and the 2 subsections that are highlighted, those all went on their own map on 1 page. So I had to cut them off the page and then put them in here. And I've cut them out, but I don't have them quite ready to actually go in yet. So that will be for probably my own efforts offline. But maybe I'll do it on stream. You never know. I don't know how many times I'm gonna do a segment like this before the final version, where we have the players in here and the players will talk about what they're planning to do. But we do have a map finished now. Well, actually 3 maps, including the overall one. But we have 1 encounter map. So, yeah, things are on here now. And we can switch back to objects and tokens. I'll probably hide all these guys. Or maybe Fog of War will work. I'll have to figure that out. Actually, while we're here, what does this look like if I turn on Fog of War? Because I can. Fog of War on. I'm not sure if I want to use Fog of War or not. And I don't have a pro account, so I can't use dynamic lighting right now. But even if I did use dynamic lighting, I would have to go and set up, like, the boundaries of the dynamic lighting. So, I'm not sure if I'd want to right now. That'd be a lot of work. I'm not sure I'd manage that in the 2 weeks that I'm giving myself to create everything here. But we have a lot of stuff done. You know, we have our token page. Most of our tokens are on here. Oh, yes, the one thing we need to do. The one thing we need to do. That is to actually go and create some characters. But NPC ones, not player characters. I do not actually know where I go to do that. Okay, let me adjust myself a little here. Shortcuts, DM. Their tutorial was very unhelpful. It did not include a lot of the things that I would expect it to have. Oh, there's a jukebox. Okay, and a bunch of macros. That's a thing. And not there. Maybe I can do it by picking a class or a race. There's a bunch of halflings we need to do. So let's, no. Maybe there's a thing off of here to create somebody. Okay, no. What would happen if I just... Oop. That was not what I wanted to click on. Over here. What would happen if I just click on you like that? Nothing. Wow, okay. That's a good question. I've never had to make a player in here before. Oh. Well, apparently that added them there. Let's get rid of that. That did not help us any. Okay, this is stuff for the adventure. Magic items, too. That might be helpful when I need to go looking for some. Handouts. We don't have any nice pre-made handouts. That's not going to be a thing. Sidekick level. I'm guessing those are, like, scripts. Potions of healing is going to be something that I'll have to carry over, I think. But I don't think it's in here. So, I need to figure out how we create that. No. I don't care about races now. This is the thing I've never done in here. I've never created a character in Roll20 before. At least not in this system. Which makes it very confusing to me. I'm not sure where I would actually do it. I have not invited the players yet, so... That's the thing. I know there should be like a script to do it. But I'm not sure. Rollable tables. I will have to make some of those. Because random encounter tables for these maps specifically. Because there's one for each of the hex grid areas. But I don't see... I would think it's... But I'm not sure where in the interface here I'm looking. Okay, that gets rid of the sidebar. What happens if I click on myself, maybe? Nope. Alright. Nope. Alright. Well, I would like to make a character. An NPC character, that is. But I'm not sure how off the top of my head. And I've never done it. So I might end it here and go searching for how I make characters. And we'll probably do some NPCs next time. I'll work on the rest of the maps and getting an idea of the balance. Even in this encounter here, this one right here, there is actually a lot of, there's a lot of loot between all these encounters. So hopefully the loot will keep our players going. But I'm not sure. We'll have to actually see when we're in the game. Playtesting is a big thing. But yeah, I'm gonna go for now. Hopefully everyone had fun. Especially with me getting lost. So, take care, have fun, and see you later. Bye!